Hey, Rabbi, what are you doing?
Shalom Aleichem, Baruch Hashem. I mean, what am I doing? We're doing what we
That's
always do. I just
it's the
finished the
mid.
class. We just finished the class in Mishnayos Pesachim, right? And
Yeah,
now you're back. You're back at it. The question is, what are you doing? By
I
you,
was
it's
trying.
now what? What time is
It's
it by
one.
you now?
It's a minute to 1 a.m. It's the middle of the night. I want to go to sleep, but somehow I've got an itch I can't scratch, and I think I need a devator from Rabbi Wilhelm.
Aha. Because by the time tomorrow comes around in America, by you, it's Shabbos ready. What time is
Right.
Shabbos these days in Japan?
Well, here I believe we'll be lighting like around 4 p.m. It's lighting
Four
candles. Yeah,
o'clock?
it's early.
All right, so let me give you a little fuel. You know, the month of Kislev is a great month uh, for holidays. It's the month of Hanukkah, and in the Hasidic calendar, it's the month of Yud Kislev, Tes Kislev, Yud Kislev, all Hasidic holidays. Now, we speak about very holy, spiritual people, spiritual things. In the Parsha, we also speak about the main player in the Parsha is Yaakov. And we're getting sort of mixed messages about this father of ours, Yaakov, because he's titled last week, Yaakov Ish Tam Yoshev Aholim. Yaakov Ish Tam means you could misinterpret it. A simple man, he sits in the tent. You know, some people chas v'sholem might even interpret a lemechol, a pushover. Yeah, excuse me. When you read the stories of last week's parsha and this week's parsha, he's far from a pushover. He has to deal with the Esav and somehow finagle the firstborn rights. He figures it out ganz nicely. To get the bracha from Yitzchak, he figures it out ganz nicely. And we weren't done. That's last week's parsha. And this week's parsha, he's having a nice debate with Lavan. And Lavan scams him here, Lavan scams him there. He ain't no pushover. So there's a story told about a person who was doing fine financially, but he was a very good-hearted person. He was giving away all his money to tzedakah. He didn't literally live anything for himself. So the rabbi of the town called him over and said, "Whoa, whoa, 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 slow down. You know, halachically, you could keep things for yourself. You know, there's limits how much you have to give." So the man said, "What do you mean? I like to serve Hashem bitmimus." Genuinely, full-heartedly, like each time. So the rabbi says, excuse me, Yaakov Avinu was ish tam, and Yaakov Avinu didn't do crazy things like this. When it came to this fight Esav, when it came to fight Lavan, he was pretty shrewd. Why? Because the Torah doesn't call him a tam, like in the Haggadah. There are four sons, one of them is a tam. The Torah calls him a ish tam. Ishtar means somebody, a man who knows when to use the simplicity. He knows when to be humble. He knows when to be total genuine, but he also knows when to stand up for his rights. The Friedrich Rebbe says that a humble person has two terms, onov and shuffle. Now, what's the difference between these two terms? Moshe Rabbeinu was called an onov, a humble person. Guess what? When somebody stood up against him, a kairach, a dasan vaviram, he knew how to put them in place. A shuffle is a person who lets everybody step on him. That's not. We don't want you to be that way. We want you to be humble, humility, but do what's right, and know the way of the world, how to avoid what not to do, and just do it with ishtam. Now the pasuk clearly says the tremendous bracha for behaving that way. We know the Lubavitch slogan is the pasuk of Ufaratzta Yom of Akain Matzafayna Benegba, that you will spread in east, west, north, south. Your children, your descendants will be spread out everywhere. People forget that there's a first part of the pasuk. That's the second part of the pasuk. The first part of the pasuk, the Sipurnu and the Klei Yakar say, is V'hoya Zaracha Kafara Aretz. Your children will be like the dust of the ground, dust of the land, and they will spread everywhere. What's the connection between the two? So it's specifically when you are humble, when you have humility, then you'll grow to be all over the place. This serving Hashem b'tmimus. Actually, they even say a step further. Sometimes this high-level bracha of that you'll be all over the place, spread out all over the world, and you'll be prominent people all over the world, it comes about specifically after a period of time when you feel beaten like Afar Haaretz. And we're experiencing that now, the anti-Semitism and all this. It shows us that we're about to reach the level of the bracha where Faratz the Yom became a Tzafayim and Negba. I want to share with you one little thought. In the beginning of the Parsha, it says that Yaakov comes to Haran, Vayifka b'Mokaim, he met a place, Vayolan Sham, he rested there, Kivo Hashemesh. Literally translated would mean the sun came. What do you mean the sun came? That's loosely translated. So Rashi says, no. It came. It usually we're talking about evening, nighttime. It means the sun left, not the sun came. So Rashi says it left much too fast. The night started much earlier. Shkia Sachama happened suddenly. That's why there's a word Kiva Hashemesh. Okay. So let me tell you an interesting, again, because this month, is also the Chag HaChagim of Yutes Kislev. I want to tell you a letter that the Frierdiker Rebbe writes, how he describes the relationship between a Chassid and a Rebbe. He says, you look outside and you see the sun. You look up there and you see the sun. Nobody became up and close to the sun to know exactly what it is. No, we have no understanding what the sun is, how it works, what's the nature of the sun. Nevertheless, despite the fact that we know nothing about the sun, we all know that the sun brings light, the sun brings warmth. Says the Frierdiker Rebbe, a Rebbe is like the son of the Hasidim, the sun. The light, the luminary. He gives them hope and he gives them salvation. In other words, listen to the depth of that statement. The Frierdiker Rebbe compares the tzaddik of the generation to the sun. In what way? Perhaps in these four things. Just like the sun, you'll never figure it out. And the closer you come to the sun, the more you will be burnt, consumed by the sun. So it's actually the further you stay away, the more light you get and the more warmth you get. Too close, you can't receive what the sun has to offer. The sun doesn't make differences where it shines. Everyone is equal. The light that the sun produces goes into everywhere equal. Now, but depending on the vessel that you make to receive the light of the sun, that's how much light you'll get. Sometimes if you try to block it, you'll block it. But the sun from itself gives everybody equal sun, equal light, equal warmth. And it's our job to create a vessel for the chayis of the tzaddik to come in. The sun is completely nullified to the creator. Every day does the same routine. He does up and down, east and west, what Hashem wants. So is a true leader, a true tzaddik, is batel, completely nullified to Hashem. The sun is a symbol of something that lasts forever. And you can't diminish the sun. It lights, like it or not. And you can't stop it. The sun, until that's how Hashem created it. That's how it will be. So too, the warmth, the light, the teachings of a tzaddik, see him or no see him, his teachings, his legacy is forever. Even to somebody who doesn't understand how a sun works, he still gets the light. So even somebody who didn't necessarily connect to the tzaddik, he doesn't know what a tzaddik is. A tzaddik is someone who gives the chayis to him even without your connection, even without your understanding. Now, these are tremendous things. And I was thinking this because Kivo Hashemesh actually means when the sun went down, the sun set, and yet it's called Va. It came. I was thinking that a tzaddik is the Shemesh. A tzaddik, even after he leaves this world, he's actually coming. He becomes stronger. And that's why it's Kiva Hashemesh. The Medrash actually says a very interesting thing. The Medrash says a different interpretation of this pasuk. Vayifka b'makom, Yaakov came to this place, Vayolen, Kiva Shemesh. Because Shemesh came. Who is Shemesh? Shemesh is Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu was called Shemesh. The tzaddikim are called Shemesh. They produce light. What does it mean, Kiva Shemesh? Yaakov, from all the tzaddikim, he produced the most light. Because Yaakov is, from the Avos, Avraham was metaking Shachris, the morning prayers. Yitzchak was metaking the afternoon prayers. And Yaakov was metaking Ma'ariv, the evening prayers. The first two prayers, morning and evening, morning and afternoon, it's light outside. So you're able to identify, connect yourself to Hashem. So it's not such a big deal that you're davening at that time. Yaakov brings the Shemesh, brings the sunlight into night, into dark. Kivar Shemesh, Yaakov comes with his power of light and says, you are in Galus, you are in night, you are in darkness, we're going to make light there too. And if you do that, God blesses us with Kol Tov.
Thank you so much, Rabbi. I think I will be able to sleep very soundly tonight.
Even though you have sunlight now.
Yeah, I'll turn I'll pull the shades down. Okay. Thank you so much.
Have a good Shabbos.
You too.